And good evening, this is Bob W6CGX, and I'll be your net control operator for tonight's Papa Great Outdoor Net. This net meets every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific. This is a directed net, so please go through net control at all times, and your cooperation is always greatly appreciated. Stations with emergency or priority traffic can come into the net at any time with a double break, and net control will respond appropriately. The Papa system is an open membership-supported system in the Southern California area with coverage from the Mexican border to Paso Robles and from the Channel Islands to Las Vegas, Nevada. If you're a visitor to the Papa system tonight, I invite you to go to papasys.com, that's Papasys.com, and register as a guest. With your guest registration, you'll have 45 days of free access to the Papa system. At the end of your one-time 45-day guest access period, we'd love for you to become a subscribed member, continue to use the Papa system on a daily basis, and be part of the Papa system family. However, all amateurs are welcome to participate in the daily, weekly, and monthly Papa system nets regardless of their membership status. Again, this is the Papa system Great Outdoor Net. And we are back from the island. Aloha. And we did it island style. It was pretty fun. Well, I'm speaking of our trip over to Channel Islands tonight, so you can kind of get an idea what we're going to talk about a little bit. Let's see what you guys want, if you have some questions and things. We do have a couple reports to do, so we'll get with that too, and get any kind of feedback to anybody out there that thought we'd just do a final island net from here, from the mainland. All right, W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. Hope you're having a great weekend. I'm sure you probably are. It looks like it's good weather to go to the beach, I suppose, isn't it? All right, before we go too far, let me stop and pause for some announcements.
Here is a quick look at the Papa System weekly calendar for the latest news and upcoming events. The Papa Inland Empire monthly meeting. Papa will be meeting in person on Saturday, September 12th, 10 a.m. at the Redlands Municipal Airport Lobby. 1755 Sessoms Drive, Redlands, California. There is currently no food service at the airport. For anyone who is hungry or thirsty, after the meeting, Hangar 24 Brewery is right across the street. They have a pretty good menu of pub fare if you're hungry, and some excellent craft brews made on-site to wash it down with. If you're not a beer drinker, don't worry. They have craft root beer and other soft drinks available. They open at 11 a.m. We will be offering ham license testing at 9 a.m. for technician, general and amateur extra class licenses. So come out and join us at our new Inland Empire meeting venue and meet up with some of your on-air friends who you enjoy talking to on the air. Everyone is welcome to attend. The Papa West Side Luncheon. Papa will also be meeting in person on Saturday, September 12th at 11 a.m. at the Sizzler in Culver City. 5801 Sepulveda Boulevard, Culver City, California. We will be offering ham license testing at 10 a.m. for technician, general and amateur extra class licenses. Special presentation. Disneyland Amateur Radio Club. Come out for a special presentation by Papa member Fred, W0PE. Fred would love to share about his experiences and knowledge with the Disneyland Amateur Radio Club. Please RSVP on the Papa website for the Inland Empire Breakfast, the West Side Luncheon, and for ham license testing at both locations. As always, the Papa Quick Start program runs in conjunction with all our test sessions and is a benefit for newly licensed technician class ham radio operators. Please see the Papa website for more information. Newly licensed hams are encouraged to join the new Hams Net Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. with Steve, KI6LOV, and please mention if you were part of the Quick Start program. The new Hams Net is a great place to be able to connect with fellow new amateur radio operators. The USS Midway Museum radio team, NI6IW, will be on the air on Saturday, September 12th from 0900 to 1600 Pacific Time. They will be remembering the tragic day of September 11th on our 25th year promise of We Will Never Forget. Please check the Papa website for all operating modes and frequencies. All this information and a whole lot more can be found on the Papa System emails and on the Papa website at papasys.com.
All right. Well, thank you, Stefan. That's a great job there on the announcements, as always. Sounds like we got a lot going on. It's not quite this week or next week, but we get into the second week of September. We'll have some fun going on there. So it sounds great. All right. Let's see if there's any other announcements before we go any further on the net. Any announcements for the net only at this time? Okay, Sam, I think the coast is clear. We'll take that for as a no. W6CJX here for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. As you know, we went out to Channel Islands University. It was kind of fun out there. For it's Santa Cruz Island, and we left on Monday. This past Monday, came back on Friday, and we spent 4 glorious nights there on the island, which was a lot of fun. I've been doing it 16 years, I guess. So I guess for some reason I keep coming back. And if you make one trip out there, even for the day, you'll know why. It's very good. Very, very nice place. So with that, we're going to talk a little bit about Papa Ham Camp. Maybe try next year to get a little more people. We actually had one campsite completely empty, I think, for the whole time. So, it's just unfortunate. I probably take most fault for that. I just didn't promote it as much as I used to do. So thought people would get sick of hearing about it. So I didn't overly do it. But we'll see what we can do next year and get a nice little group going, at least, 8 people or so. That would be kind of cool. So as you know, Steve, KI6LOV, and N6IVO, Mr. Evo, was the other cohorts out there on the camp at the Papa Ham Camp. And we get along great. Of course, we were Papa members. We always get along great. But we had a really good time. So I've got them coming on in a little bit here. Actually, next we're gonna maybe forego Steve's trail report tonight from the cabin, and we're just gonna go with his trail report from the island. So we'll actually do that. So let's see if Steve is out there and he's through with DRT and all that over there. That sounds like a plan. Steve, KI6LOV, you have the microphone.
All right, thank you, Bob. And indeed, I finished up a little late on the DRT net tonight, but I made it back in time, so that's a good thing. So yes, indeed, I went out. I took the boat ride from Ventura, 9 o'clock boat last Wednesday, and I stayed 2 nights on Santa Cruz Island with the guys. And if you've never done that, I'm telling you, even if you don't like to camp out and just go for a day trip and take the boat ride over, and I prefer you go to Scorpion Cove because that's where the little visitor center is, and you can see all the people kayaking and all that all those activities and stuff. But just an excellent trip across the ocean, and some good hiking trails, but there was one issue on Thursday when I had planned a longer hike, and that was it got really hot up on the slopes. Down at the campground, it was very pleasant, but out in the sun without any trees and the light-colored rocks and all, it was blazing hot, so I did not make my goal of hiking out to see the ocean view from the other side of the island. So I ended up cutting that one short, but it was still good. And I got to meet a couple of the Park Service employees who were doing water quality testing at their water spigots where they get the spring water for the campgrounds at Scorpion Cove. So that was kind of cool. And one last thing, and then I'll give it back to you, Bob. Make sure if you go out there to go camping, remember there is no trash service, and you need to bring everything back with you. And you can go on the Island Packers website and read all about it. You can also go on the National Parks website, look up Channel Islands National Park, and get all the info there. And I'll give it back to you, Bob. And, we'll talk about the Big Bear bald eagles another time. But things are changing, and I think everything's going to be even more exciting going forward. So with that teaser, KI6LOV back to net control.
Well, thank you, Steve. That was great. Yeah, we had a good time, didn't we? We just one of those times. Just, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there when you said if you haven't been over there, just at least for unless you're not seaworthy, then okay, I get it. But if you're been on a boat or two, or at least you think you can do fine, it's not that well, it's not that bad really. Depends on where you sit, I think. But also, we made a little bit of history over there, didn't we, Steve? We had the very first New Hams net conducted from Santa Cruz Island, or maybe conducted from anywhere other than Steve's location. I'm trying to think of another time it might have been done somewhere else, but no, pretty much that was the first time, especially on the island. And I think it was a hit because, I got maybe 5 or 6 check-ins on the island net, and boom, Steve came on, and man, he had something like 37 check-ins. So he filled up the island log, and we have that in the log with everybody, and nice and neatly written in his number 2 West Wing pencil. I'm sorry, I can't remember all the different numbers, but it was fantastic. It was fabulous. Okay, thank you, Steve. We have another couple firsts out there, but I'll sneak those in between. Let me see if our good friend N6 IVO, who does more than Superman himself for the Papa system, and let's see if he has a report. He was our HF guy, so if you guys have a question for him or anything, you can run that out before he takes off. And I do appreciate him being here. Thank you, Evo. Go ahead, and you've got the microphone. Over to you.
Well, thanks, Bob, and good evening, everybody. This is N6 IVO, Evo in Tustin, coming in on Papa 5 tonight. As Bob said, I was in charge of the HF station, and I had plans on setting it up in multiple locations and at multiple elevations, but broken hiking shoes ruined that. I still don't know what I did. I'm trying to think. Maybe the spike that did it, but both of my soles were broken, and I didn't want to take a chance on walking barefoot in there on the island. So we did set up the station at the base camp, and it worked okay. Band conditions weren't the greatest. However, the first night we were able to make contact with Darren W6USN in Temecula. That was pretty cool on 40 meters. Tuesday we had success on 40 meters again around noon with contacts to Oregon and Washington, and in the evening we hooked one in Sun City, Arizona. And Wednesday was definitely the best day with contacts on 40 and 20 meters. Highlight definitely was the station in Costa Rica, who came in with 1,200 watts, and compared to our 40 watts going out, that was quite a difference. Thursday can be summed up in one word: dead. There was nothing going on Thursday on HF. All the bands were dead. All in all, it was a great week. This was my third ham camp, and I am very glad that I could make it. It was a no at first, but then plans had changed, and I was able to go, and I'm very happy with that. It was also pretty good hanging out with you, Bob, as always. It's fun to see how many things we have in common, even though we've only known each other for a few years, and we have done quite some things in our life that are similar. I have one observation. The more electronics you bring, the more batteries you need, and the more batteries you need, the more you need to charge those batteries with solar panels. Not sure what we should do about that. Maybe Cowdog can come back next year and bring his super duper big battery with him, and we can all benefit from that. One last thing, it is super comforting to know that there is someone monitoring the Papa system, making sure that we are okay. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but you're still on that island, and if something was to happen in the middle of the night, it's not very easy to get off of there, and knowing that there's somebody there that we can reach out to is absolutely wonderful. All right, with that, Bob, I'll give it back to you. Have a great net. I'll be listening, and if anybody has any questions, I'll be on standby. Back to you, Bob, N6 IVO.
Wow. That was beautiful. Thank you, Evo. Wow, that was perfect. I couldn't. You reminded me of things that I forgot about the island trip, and yeah, we've done just about everything in unison of each other, from disc jockey years ago, and in a radio station, and fireman, and I don't know. We had 2 or 3 other things that we have in common. Oh, I've been to Belgium, so I guess I can say that. Thank you so much. That was great, 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 great. We do appreciate it. And I had a blast with both of yous. Both of yous. It was really a fun time. Definitely. And got to do it again. So we'll get it all worked up. Got a year. You got a year to take time off. It'll always be about that same time, like second week or so of August. All right. Thanks, Evo. And what else did I have for you? Oh, yeah. Every morning, what did we do as good little farmers and ranchers out there on the island? We tended to our solar farm. Yep, we positioned those babies. We had to, from the late night afternoon sun, we got to turn things around and get it ready for the early morning sun coming up. So, that kept us pretty busy. It was good sun. It's a good spot right there, right next to the dry waterbed. All right, W6CJX for the Papa System, Great Outdoor Net. And we are talking our aftermath wrap-up party here on the Papa Ham Camp 2026. Don't have a 101 tonight. I'll spare you guys another one of those. So really, we'll just take some check-ins, and if you made contact with us, I'm trying to remember. So let's take some check-ins, and like I said, if you made contact with us, that'd be great. Let us know. I know I wrote everybody down, of course, but over the 4 nights of doing an island net, you kind of forget who actually checked in. Some are the same each night, and whatever, doesn't matter. But tonight's just the Great Outdoor Net. So always on the table for the Great Outdoor Net, regardless of topic, is what did you do this weekend that was considered an outdoor adventure or just a sport of some kind, or you just drove outdoors and took your car down to Malibu or something for a car show. So it all works, and if you don't have anything for the island stuff, that's always a good one too. All right, let's take some check-ins and get going with the Papa System Great Outdoor Net, Sunday evenings here at 8 p.m. on the Great Papa Network. Please come now.
November 6, Alpha Quebec,
Kilo 6, Hotel November Golf.
Kilo Juliet 6, Golf Uniform, Mobile, Papa 1. November 6, Alpha Quebec, Dale.
November 6, Hotel Alpha Lima.
Kilo Oscar 6, Oscar Whiskey Alpha.
Alpha Bravo 6, Mike Bravo.
Kilo Juliet 6, Golf Echo Uniform, Bob, if you didn't catch me the first time.
A6 TV.
Okay, I'm going to put a break on it right there. It's a good place to start for sure. Yeah, I think I got everybody. I'm hoping anyway. At least I'm darn close to it. What else was I going to say? Well, anyway, we'll get started, and then I'll figure out another lie or two. Okay. N6AQQ, Dale, good evening. Heard you went to the luncheon in Orange County. That was good news. I'm glad you were there. And kind of wish I was.
Yeah, I went to the luncheon. It was good. I like to talk and seeing everybody. What did Evil use for an antenna on the island is my question. And I didn't do anything outdoors today. It was 99 degrees in Tustin, so I stayed in the house all day. N6AQQ, good evening.
Well, I don't know if I can answer that or not. I'm going to let maybe Evo, if you're still there. What did you use? I saw what he used, and I know it was a wire, and that's about the best I can tell you. Go ahead, Evo, if you're there.
Yeah, I'm here. I used a NFET half-wave. Was 80 to 6 meter. Had a 20-foot mast and ran a vertical wire from the mast to a tree branch. And so it basically was a horizontal configuration. Hope that helps, Dale. That was it.
Well, thank you, Evo. I recorded it just in case someone asked. What was that again that Evo said? So I'll just play it. Thank you, Evo. Yeah, I mean, it sounded good. Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, yeah, I remember now. Oh, I remember now. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, hope that helped out, Dale, and I'm sure you heard that. Let's say hello to Steven KO6 KHK, who man, these guys get around. I'm telling you, they were in Yosemite over the weekend. Maybe they still are, but I think they might even be back. So welcome to the net. You're as outdoors as we can get. You and Loretta.
Hey, good evening, Bob. Thanks for running the net. Yeah, we try to be outside as much as we can. It's much better than inside, in my opinion. I checked in with you a few times while you were out there on the island. I thought that was pretty cool, being able to keep tabs on you guys, make sure you're not lighting the island on fire or doing anything crazy. We had a nice little trip, went up to Yosemite again, and this time we went to the North Valley, Hetchy Valley. Cool story there. They developed a dam in the early 1900s to make a reservoir for San Francisco's drinking water. I believe it's over 2 million customers that it serves, as well as hydropower. But a very cool place to see. Probably would be better to see it without the dam. From what I hear, it was Yosemite Part 2. It was just another great valley to see with giant granite walls and things like that, but they flooded it to make way for a dam, and I guess there's a lot of controversy there, but I digress. It was a great place to see, and that's one of my favorite places is the Sierra Nevadas. That whole range, there's no end of adventure, but just got home, and now the fun part, unpacking and going back to normal life. KO6, KHK, back over to you, Bob.
Oh, absolutely. Coming back to civilization, and then what do you have to do? A bunch of chores, laundry and putting away. I kind of paced myself a little bit, but I was able to get everything put away, and it's all ready for next year. I don't have to really touch much on it, just add food and water and go, I guess. Well, sounds great. I don't know how you guys go to Yosemite and back like that. It was the longest ride for us, but we really enjoyed it. It was kind of a bucket list thing I know I was there when I was a kid with my parents, and all I remember about it is how beautiful it was, and there was a bear, and we saw a bear. And that's probably the only time I saw a bear, but I don't even remember that much. Just a black bear. He was cruising through the park, but and then Carolyn had never been there, so we both went, and kind of like a birthday. It was in October. Just beautiful, absolutely. And like you were saying last night, I think, or the night before, you're saying how the park really wasn't too crowded. It wasn't too bad, and it wasn't thin either. It was just the perfect time to go. Thank you, Stephen. Say hello to Loretta, and I'm glad you guys do that. Please, make sure you tell us about your adventures when you go out, because we love to hear from you on that, and maybe get you on the net one of these nights too to do a little special thing or something. W6EJX for the Papa System, great outdoor net. Let's say goodbye to Stephen for now, and say hello to Adrian, which he's on our blacklist because he didn't show up, but that's okay. We still love you.
Bob and everybody there on the net. This is Adrian, KK6HNG, and yeah, actually, I'm pretty sad I couldn't join this year because you know how much I like that. Actually, probably aside from the net control, probably I was the most often times on the Papa Ham Camp, and I will definitely do it again for sure. And I actually second the Sierras because a lot of weekends this summer I have been there. So let's see, Bishop Pass, Cottonwood Lakes, Cottonwood Pass, a nice loop. I missed Langley because I was idiot enough to have a very heavy backpack for that endeavor. But sure enough, and very soon is going to be Sabrina Basin Lakes. I heard they are beautiful. I've seen like half of them. I want to see the other half. And I don't know, when on the long weekend of the Labor Day, didn't have anything set up yet. It's almost impossible to get any reservation anywhere, but we'll see. I might play it by the ear and get up something. We'll see. So yeah, Sierra, it's absolutely beautiful. I discovered it like 2 years ago or so, and probably I've been there more than 20 times. KK6HNG, back to net.
Well, thank you, Adrian. We were thinking about you the whole time, and I know you'd be there in a heartbeat if you could, and there's a good reason that you couldn't be there. That's all I know. Well, I've known you for what, 7 trips or more. I've lost count how many times you've been, but definitely, we missed you. And I'll let you know, someone else has your headlamp or something equivalent to, and we were sitting there one night. What night was that? I think it was just Evo and I. So it must have been maybe, it could have been Monday or Tuesday night. And, I said, look up on the hill, and he looks up and he goes, wow. And because it looks like this, freight train coming down. I mean, the light was so bright and so big. And it was just like the night that you came in late, just come on the trail that you went across the island. And I said, you know what? That could be Adrian. It would not surprise me that he got here today and he hiked across the island and he's going to come into camp here in a few minutes, because that light looks so familiar. And so it wasn't. There was somebody else with a really bright headlamp. But anyway, I didn't find out what kind it was. But there you go. We thought you actually might have just showed up, and that just wouldn't have surprised me anyway. I've seen you do some pretty miraculous things there. Thank you, Adrian, as always. And let's say hello to Logan, KE6LLB. Good evening, Logan, and welcome to the Great Outdoors Net.
Good evening, Bob, and good evening, everybody out there. This is Logan, Kilo Delta 6, Lima, Bravo. And, I was lucky enough to make some day trips over to the island, and it's just a really nice place. It's really fun to be there. And, there wasn't an option to do that for me this year. But I did have a couple of comments. First, as far as what I did outdoors this weekend, not much. Other than going to and from the car, didn't get out this weekend, but I did get out a little bit last week. And this is very much like Steve's story of having cool temperatures down near camp, down at low elevations near the ocean, and then hike up a little ways. And there was, I think it was Thursday, I think it might have been the same day Steve was hiking on the island. I basically rushed to finish everything and went out for a ride one afternoon, Thursday or Wednesday or whatever day it was. And it was probably less than maybe 80 degrees, maybe less than 80 down by the coast by then. It's pretty high humidity, 60-65%. And but at about 600 feet, it felt like I was in Death Valley. The temperature went up. I wish I had a thermometer. I'd like to know what the actual temperature was, but everything changed, and it actually turned out to be like a pretty. By the time I got to where I was going, I was pretty wet and pretty hot. Kind of wasn't prepared for that. So anyway, I think I understand what Steve encountered there for sure. So I guess he had broken soles, and I've seen that I don't know how many times, and luckily it hasn't happened to me too much, but it hasn't caught me out on the trail, but I've definitely damaged some things. I think it's heat in almost every case that I've had materials go bad. In particular, storing them in a car. I keep shoes in a car, and I have to rotate them out and always wonder if they're any good anymore. And that is the reason I am very fussy about using the reflective window shades in my truck, because I've had a lot of things that I keep in there break down and go bad. And this is not outdoor related, but a funny story. I had some very expensive dress shoes fall apart during a job interview once, and that was pretty embarrassing. But I'm proud to say I did get the job. So anyway, hopefully I'll have more outdoor related stuff instead of whatever that was. Good to hear everyone, and thanks for doing the net as always, Bob. KD6LLB.
That was perfect. That's what that was. And we did threaten to take out the duct tape and wrap up Evo's shoes. And so we discussed that a little bit and realized that, let's say you're out on the trail up through Yosemite, or you're way out back somewhere. There's nobody around, maybe one or two hikers might meet up with. Yeah, we'll duct tape your shoe till you look like, a space astronaut or something. But being there, we kind of looked at each other and went, no, it's going to look really stupid walking around with the duct tape shoes. So we could have put it just on the sole. That would be fun. Or bring something. Oh, you know what actually came up? We talked about your knife, Logan. I said, now if you can ask him. I did say this. I said, now if you had Logan's knife, his Bowie knife, original Bowie knife, and heated it up till it got really, really red, and then just laid it on there, I bet it would melt the rubber together. So you were included in that. The other thing, I just want to say real quick, we did do the experiment of jet boil popcorn, and I would say it was kind of a success. I did eat it. It was a little burnt, and I did have to do a little scrubbing on the bottom of my jet boil cup. But I think it was kind of fun. Maybe we'll get a different kind of pan next time. Try that out. W6CJX for the Papa System. Great outdoor net. Thank you as always, Logan. And let's say hello to Bob, KJ6GEU. If you're out there, welcome.
Yeah, how you doing, Bob? And everybody else on the net. This is the other Bob, KJ6GEU. Just pulled into my driveway, so I guess technically I'm still mobile on Papa 1. Yeah, I thought about going down to the beach today, down Westward Beach, down Malibu, but we figured everybody in LA County would probably be there as well, given the weather situation. So we bagged it, stayed home, and relaxed a bit. So as soon as this weather gets better, I'd like to get out and do some hiking. But anyway, speaking of hiking, yes, I definitely give a third vote to the Sierras. We have a place up in Mammoth. We love hiking up there in the fall and in the summer, and we ski in the winter. Just beautiful, beautiful places all over the Sierra to hike. Let's see. Speaking of bears, you mentioned bears. Yeah, there's bears in the Sierra, but you know what? You want to see lots of bears, go hiking in Alaska. We had a face-to-face with a bear on a hiking trail up there. It was interesting, and I have pictures to prove it. It was pretty amazing. And as far as your net, I remember talking to you, I think it was either right before or right after one of your nets when you were out on the island. I remember you were having some issues. You were trying to get on analog, and it was really kind of scratchy. I was able to copy you, but it was kind of scratchy, so I think you switched back to Starlink right after that. And I also remember you saying something about some fellow foolish campers that gave some foxes up there some indigestion, didn't use the fox boxes. That's a bummer. You don't want to see that. Anyway, I've talked long enough. I'll send it back to net control. You all have a good one, Bob, and I'll catch you later. KJ6GEU, back to net.
Well, thank you, Bob. Yeah, we just, it's that old where you're standing, and, there's several trees. I guess mostly eucalyptus, I would imagine. I was trying to think. Oh, there's a couple other different trees in there a little bit. And yeah, just depending on where you're at, or if someone's standing in front of the antenna. But we finally got that figured out where a good spot was, and then just kind of went with the Starlink All-Star thing going on. So it seemed like with the clear node, it worked out just to try it out. I think we've come in advance to that to say, well, let's see how this all works. So we definitely had a full round of communications, radio, of course, number one, and then we could use the Starlink to get messages or phone calls out if we needed to for an emergency. Thank you so much, Bob. And okay, we got 3 for Sierras. I didn't know we were taking a poll, but that's okay. We got it done. Hal, N6HAL, good evening, my friend, and how are you? Don't remember if I heard you. I might have heard you on one of the nets, but I don't know if we get the talk or not. Go ahead, Hal, welcome.
November 6th, Hotel Alpha Lima. Thank you, Bob. Thanks for hosting the net. Glad to hear you guys have a good time there in the island. I don't have a whole lot to say about what I did outdoors over the weekend or last week. I kind of took a relaxing week because I was really hectic the week before, so I spent most of the week just inside. I hate walked down to the rec center to have my Saturday morning coffee with the guys, but didn't spend much time outside. But I got things done on the inside, relaxed quite a bit, and I didn't have any contact with the you guys out at the island. I didn't forget about you being out there, but I just was relaxing so much, I guess I forgot to do anything. So that's about it for me. Thanks again, and back to the net. November 6th, Hotel Alpha Lima.
Well, great to hear you tonight, Hal. And yeah, one observation from this year, it was the first year I'll safely kind of say that I didn't see a dolphin on our way over or our way back home. Sometimes you don't see one in one direction, and then when you come back on your way home, there's 100 that are just escorting you. They know you're there, and it's so cool that the interaction between humans and dolphins. But not one, and I guess the idea is that they went north a little bit to find colder water because of this warm water El Nino thing that's happening out there. So that made sense. That's also kind of scary. That means it may really happen, the El Nino. So we'll see what happens. Thank you, Hal, as always. And it was good hearing you last night talking about the backdraft and that kind of stuff about the fire department. I thought that was great. Next station, I'm not sure if I got the call sign right, so let me go for it. KO6 Oscar Whiskey Alpha. Does that sound correct? And give us your name and correct the call sign if it's wrong. And welcome.
Good evening, Ned. My name is Mark. Call sign is Kilo Oscar 6 Oscar Whiskey Alpha. I'm a new ham trying to get out there and just participate in some things. I'm a guest member, but I paid the membership fee already, so I just did that this afternoon. But so anyways, my story for the great outdoors this weekend was not much. I did get a chance to drive my 1972 Chevelle last night to Huntington Beach with the windows down. It was still kind of hot, but it was a welcome drive. Haven't been able to drive the car much because it's been really hot, and it has no air conditioning. A couple weeks ago, we went to Big Sur, Monterey area, and we just enjoyed that before it started to burn down. So thanks for allowing me to participate in the net. 73 to everyone, and I'll send it back to you, Bob.
Well, great to meet you, Mark. Thank you so much for coming by and sharing and being there. Yeah, you're always welcome on all the nets. And of course, now signed up as a member or paid up on as a member, you can of course, you got VIP seats or entrance passes, or we'll figure it out. But yeah, you get to become in as a VIP. Well, that's great. Yeah, that sounds like a great trip. And when you mentioned your Chevelle, 72 Chevelle, I had a 69 Mustang Fastback, and that was one of my favorite things. No air conditioning either on that one. And I'd roll down both windows, and I had side pipes that came off of headers. It was 302 that was in that. And it sounded nice. I mean, just how was that? Yeah, it was just, with the windows down and the summer night air, that's what it just took me back there for a second. Wow. Wish I could do that again. Do not have that car any longer. I wish I did. I might be a rich person. Thank you so much, and enjoy that car too while you can. Let's say hello to Jeff, AB6MB. This is W6CJX Net Control.
And hello, Bob. And actually, I was trying to remember if I checked in. It was good to hear you guys out there as always, and always good to keep my ears open when you guys are out there. So you always have a contact over here. But it went really well, and I'm really glad the Starlink worked out. The better communications you have, well, the better the communications you have, and so that you had those backups and that. And so after that hurricane that decided to come up the coast towards you guys, I really do look at the comms a lot more seriously, and just making sure we have communication so we get everybody off and that. But it was still, my inner geek really liked the idea of Starlink out there. So anyway, it was great to hear you guys. hopefully more next year. I'm sure there will be. And but it was a great experience to listen to from the mainland. So back to you, Bob. AB6MB.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for being there. Jeff's always been our comms director for when we're out there on the island and making sure he was successful in assisting Carolyn and a few others to get us off the island. I think it was a couple of years ago with Hurricane Hillary was coming up, and I guess it kind of didn't quite make it to the island, but it, the it can be choppy out there in that channel without a hurricane. So with a hurricane in the neighborhood, we didn't know what it was going to be like, and they could shut the boats down if they're not safe to cross the channel. They will not, and so you might be stuck there for a day or two. That's why they say bring extra food just in case, and don't eat it all up before you leave. W6CJX for the Papa system, Great Outdoor Net. Yeah, we enjoyed the Starlink. I've just been playing with it, in the last 6 months to a year or something. We use it, with our travel trailer when we go camping there. But it's just so easy to use. You just throw it out there and start the thing up. If you got a battery that goes with it, then you don't need to plug it in to anything. And it works marvelous. I was able to call home and text message, and it would have been nice to have that when the hurricane was too, because we could have looked at a weather report, real time, or go to the Weather Channel or watch channel CBS, SoCal. Find out what's the weather tonight. Let's go. Well, let's watch the news. All right, thanks you, Jeff. Yeah, that's what we're in. It's our hobby, right? Communication. It doesn't have to just, there's so many there's mesh networks. There's all kinds of new technology out there that's communication. So that's, like you said, the bottom line. If someone came running down and said, we need an ambulance, we need, airlift or something, we could at least call 911 from there. And they told us if you did call, to let them know that you're at Scorpion Harbor or Scorpion Campground. They know where we're at. All right, that's good. Good to know. Luckily, we didn't need to have anything. And next up, we got Ellen, K6DV. Now, I want to ask you, have you ever experience the friendship of having a jumping spider? I'll leave it at that, and you can let me know. And I made a friend.
There are good spiders, and then there are bad spiders, and then there are jumping spiders. I see them around. I don't make friends with them, but I don't hurt them. The only ones I hurt are the black widows, and I don't want them to be prolific. So your question was, did that answer? What did you bring a spider back for Carolyn? Before I give you my answer to your night's topic, I want to ask that one. Back to you, Bob, for that.
Well, the answer to that is not so much Carolyn as my daughter. She actually has at least 2, if not more, very large jumping spiders. She actually buys them from a breeder. It sounds weird. But they're really cool. And I'll send you a picture of my spider that I took. I can't believe the picture came out that good because it's not that big. It was a little tiny thing. Anyway, no, I didn't bring anything. Not that I know of. I mean, it could have hitched a ride very easily. So I'll let you take it back. A microphone to you.
That was a fun question, I have to admit. I'm not quite sure the dynamics of the question tonight. All I can tell you is it's been blankety-blank hot. And so I don't have air conditioning. And before everybody goes, whoa, it's because I choose to live without it while the house is down to the studs on the south wall because of February's water damage, which hasn't been fixed because of the battle with the insurance company. Oh, boy, oh, boy. I just have to ignore that. I have a start date for the roof. But the most adventurous thing I've done, which is, I do this every year anyway, when it gets really hot and the house doesn't cool down, right now it's 87 degrees inside, 84 outside, so it's still pretty darn warm. I sleep out on the porch, and last year I slept out on the deck that overhangs the slope down below, but my brother-in-law looked at it and said, Ellen, that probably isn't as secure as you'd want it to be in an earthquake, so I moved it under the portico by the hot tub, and last night you can go into my tent and have a great night's sleep camping on my front porch, so to speak. But when you got acreage, you don't have people driving by pointing and saying you're crazy. But now you all know I am. Oh, well. K6TV, back to net.
Well, you're no crazier than the rest of us. That's for sure. Usually I end up talking to myself while I'm on the net. I'm not sure what that's all about. But we'll do a medication check. We'll just see if that's okay. Well, yeah, no, that's too bad. You're still working on that. I know this. What is this with the insurance? Everything everywhere is not good. You can't get insurance. Oh my gosh, as you guys know and have heard. So, we're not going to budge. We've got home insurance, and I think I heard from one of my friends said, no, just don't go shopping for new insurance. If you've got house and home insurance, keep it for now and hang on to it because anyway, so I think that's what we're going to do. We're not going to mess around with that. Thank you, Ellen. I know you'd like to go out there and with all the sheepies and the dogs and stuff, but they used to have sheep on the island, actually. Maybe you could work something out with the park system. Thank you for being there. And I'll send you the picture of, let's see, what did I name him? Humphrey. One where he's on my finger. There we go. And that way... Okay, and it was a lot of fun. Steve asked me if I knew what a jumping spider was, and I said, well, yeah, because my daughter's like, whatever you want to call her, an enthusiast, I guess, a hobbyist. And he goes, oh, here. And he brought over this little spider on his finger, and it actually jumped onto my finger. And that's how they are. They are it's amazing. And as the bigger they are, they're even cuter because you can see their little eyes. They have like 8 eyes or something, or 100 eyes. I don't know. I have to figure that one out. Anyway, it was fun. And I just played with that little thing all day. The scary part about it was climbing up my arm and I could feel it and didn't bother me because I knew that's what it was. But, if that had happened and I didn't know he was there, I would have slapped that and, brushed it off or something. And then I would have felt bad. Anyway, thank you, Ellen, W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. It doesn't get more outdoors than having a pet spider while you're camping, I guess, right? Anyway, let's see who else is out there tonight. And we'll take a few more check-ins. Hey, we got a little bit more time here before the hour. And if you have any questions about, Santa Cruz Island, like you've heard many times from many people, Logan and everyone else, it's at least been there for the day even. It's just a wonderful, wonderful place. So let's take a pause and see who else is out there. Please come now.
Good evening. Kilo Charlie 6 Echo Cerritos on Papa 6.
KC6 ESW.
KO6 KHK recheck.
November 6 Charlie Uniform Lima, Bakersfield.
Kilo Charlie 6 Whiskey Tango November, Jeff.
Kilo Oscar 6 Oscar Bravo Victor, Travis.
Okay, there we go. I left a little extra space just in case nobody can get in. We're trying. All right, sounds good. I've got, let's see, we got Jim, and we got Rick, and we've got Mike, and we got a recheck from Travis, and we got WTN and CUL. I'm sorry, I got it wrong.
KO4PQA.
Hi, Ron. I getcha. Okay, I'll just go through and then I'll try to do a real quick if I missed anyone type of thing. Let's say hello to Jim in Cerritos. KE6FVN.
EPC6 friends, very nice. Jim and Cerritos. Not a whole lot to say other than, hey, hello. That's all I have for tonight. KE6FVN.
Well, thank you, Jim. Always a good hello. I will take that and I'll run with it. I do like my hellos, especially from you. So that makes it extra special. And just knowing you're out there, that's the most important thing. For sure. And let's say hello to Rick. I think he's out there somewhere up the coast a little ways. KO6, Delta Golf X-Ray. Welcome, Rick. And what you got for us tonight?
Well, my friend, I'm following up on Humphrey. Just want to make sure you got me. How copy?
Well, it sounded like, Rick, it was so much static I couldn't quite. No, I'm just kidding. We've got you 100%.
Okay. Thanks, and thanks for doing the net. Thanks for everybody who participates. Got to tell you, though, about another guy who had a pet named Humphrey. his name's Maurice Els. You could find him on Wikipedia. He's out of South Africa, and or he was. But you chose well, by the way, picking a spider. They're pretty light, and Maurice, he rescued his Humphrey. There was a flood, and and it left a baby hippo in his backyard. So he raised that baby hippo. He loved that rascal Humphrey. There's even a picture of him riding him. You know, people kind of warned him, dude, it's a wild animal, and it's a hippo. It's like, I don't know how many thousand pounds, but way up there, like a full-grown one's like 8,000, I think. So, treat your little friend Humphrey well, and he'll treat you well. And unfortunately for Maurice, Humphrey the hippo, it didn't end well for Maurice. And those hippos got teeth like daggers. And so, you could look up the story. I don't want to tell you the sad ending because it's pretty sad, but definitely Humphrey the hippo is not a good pet. KO6 DJX back to net.
Well, first of all, I would say he probably was a little upset about being called Humphrey. He might have wanted to be Harry the hippo, or Henry the hippo, and not Humphrey the hippo. But other than that, I think, they make a good pet, right? Walking down the sidewalk with a hippo. That's Humphrey for you. Well, thank you. You always got a great story. So thank you, Rick. And let's move down to Mike, KC6ESW out in Santa Clarita. Welcome.
KC6TJX from KC6ESW. Welcome home, Bob. You guys had quite a trip there this year, and sounds like it was a success. Sorry to hear that Adrian couldn't make it. I know he loves doing the island trip and doing the hike around the island. So next year for his penance, he can hike the island twice around, make up for this year. Other than that, you guys sounded great, and glad things worked out. And looking forward to the next one. So back to you, sir. 7-3 is KC6ESW.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we talk like island to ship at one time?
Might have, yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, you guys were on a cruise, and like the earlier days of all your cruises that you guys took. And I don't know if it was on D-Star maybe, but you were on the boat and we were on the island. I remember that. And that's probably been, 6-7 years ago. Maybe not as many, 5. But it still was one of those fun contacts, I guess, that, that you make from an island to a ship. Help, come pick us up. All right, thank you, Mike, as always. And say hi to Chris. We got a recheck from Steven. Go ahead, Steven, KHK.
Yeah, Bob, so I heard it sounded like you guys have to pack off all your trash from the island as well. I'm curious. I have some friends. We're looking at taking a trip out there to Santa Cruz Island, and I was just wondering, about all the logistics. I think I asked you before what the cost is. It seems fairly reasonable, and then, of course, you got to bring in your own supplies, your own power, but it sounded like you also have to take out everything you bring, trash included. So just little details like that help, you bring better trash bags and have allocated space for your trash. So I was just a little curious about that. KO6, KHK. Thanks for running the net, Bob.
I always love those logistical questions, especially if I know the answer. Yes, you do have to pack it out, pack it in, pack it out. It's just sort of like if you're backpacking, you're not going to leave your trash out in the forest. But they discourage anybody using their trash cans because they have the same idea. They got to, once a week they probably come and get their trash and take it on a boat. But they have their own boat. The National Park System has their boat, and we're on Island Packers, which is a vendor of whatever you want to call it. So definitely, it's not a big deal. And most of the time, what we'll do is we'll take the trash bag. So you get the Fox boxes, right? They're bear box if you want to visualize it, and but it says Fox box on it. So you put your food always in there because you've got the foxes that are coming after it. You got blue jays, you got ravens, and we smelled a skunk twice. I'm not sure about that. I got to investigate. But I don't think they had skunks on the island. And there's no poisonous snakes. There's no rattlesnakes out there. You can go tromping through the weeds and just go, I I'm not going to get bit by a snake. It kind of blows your mind a little bit because you think like, oh, I'm got to watch where I'm walking, but no. Just bring your trash back with you. And if you're camping, we usually just by that time the ice chest is kind of empty, or we put all of our empties in the ice chest, and then put our trash maybe in there, and you just carry it back on board the boat. And then they have a big trash receptacle there when you get back to the marina there in Ventura. All right, Stephen, thank you. And let's say hello to Laramie. Good evening, November 6th, Charlie, Uniform Lima.
Good evening, Bob, and everybody else on the net. This is Laramie N6CUL up in Bakersfield. Yeah, it sounded like a great trip. Got to check into a couple of your island nets throughout the week. That was definitely enjoyable. And you mentioned the Starlink that you've been using. The Starlink is definitely an invaluable piece of equipment. We use that all the time. Pretty much any time I go out anymore into the mountains for SAR-related stuff, I've almost always got a Starlink sitting up there on the dash. And then as far as outdoors for this weekend, my wife and I participated in a clay shoot. She did most of the shooting. I did most of the scoring. So my score was incredible. Hers was pretty decent. And then next weekend, I'm going up to the Sierras to go camping with a buddy of mine. So ought to be a good weekend, and hopefully I'll have a good trail report from that. N6CUL, I'll send it back over to you, sir.
Oh, good. That means we might have an extra trail report going on. Nice. Well, everybody gets to report, right? Sounds great. And I agree with you 100%. Even if you're on the standby plan, which is what I think was $5 now, it's $10 a month. It's still unlimited data at a very low speed, but it's enough speed so that you can, one thing, get back in and re-energize it for more speed, let's say, or get back to your regular plan. But also, it's enough there to do a text message and probably even a phone call. And I've heard people, if you take really, really, really low res YouTube videos, you might be able to watch one. But that's about it. You'd have to use the full Monty. But the thing is, if you have the battery, like I have mine as a battery that snaps into it, so it's pretty much you just throw it in your backpack, and it's not that big. Have someone carry the Starlink, and you carry the water or whatever. That way, if you go in hiking, you've got pretty much the ultimate communication from anywhere. So there you go. I agree 100%. And we'll get our SAR thing together if you still want to do that. That would be so much fun. It will fall right into this whole thing we were just talking about. Let's head out to Simi Valley and say hello to Jeff. Doesn't Simi Valley mean like wind? I mean, because it's always windy. Good evening, Jeff. How's the back patio and what's happening? What's Little Bear? Give us an update. What's he or she doing?
Hey, Bob. Yeah, everything is good. Little Bear is fine. I let her out on the patio, and she's happy out there. So no worries there. Yeah, spiders. I've got a three-prong approach to spiders. So one is stamping them, and if that doesn't work, then it's chemical. I'll spray them with something, and if that doesn't work, flame. Flame always seems to work for spiders. JC6 WTN, back to net control.
The one thing that I dislike more than spiders is just No, I don't dislike spiders. We actually try to save them and put them outside. I mean, not black widows and all that stuff, but your regular daddy long legs and your average house spider. We'll try to kind of save them, just put them in a piece of paper and get them outside. Other than that, let me think. What was I going to say about that? Oh, but the spider webs, aren't those things amazing when you go out there and you try to clean them off your patio furniture and things like that? And it's just like they stick to everything. You just can't get it off your hands. And it's just the whole idea of how they I mean, that's the whole idea, so that it catches flies, I suppose, and stuff. Anyway, I digress. KF4PQH, welcome to the Great Outdoors.
There tonight, Bob. Glad you guys had a great time out there. Unfortunately, I only caught you when Steve was doing the New Ham's net on Wednesday from the island, which was a first, but I'm glad you had a good time. Sounds like you had fun with your spider. Yeah, people like to collect spiders and make pets, and they make good pets, and of course they do a good job of getting rid of a lot of other insects that we don't care for that much. Pets, spiders, snakes. I've got a friend that loves to have snakes, and lots of people collect those too. Funny with the Starlink, though, there's always that temptation, boy. You get the Starlink out there, and you're getting out there to get away from things, and then you can go and check on how the Dodgers are doing. So, anyhow, glad you're back. Had a good time. Thanks for doing that. 7-3 to everybody out there. Stay safe and do something kind if you get an opportunity. This is KF4PQH. Back to net.
KHK comment.
All right, we got you, Stephen. And I'll let you know, Ron, I did restrain myself from actually watching a Dodger game. I put it on, let's see, I was still streaming, though, so I'm cheating there. I guess I could have done it with my pocket radio, right? A little AM, FM radio. I guess I could have listened to the game on some station. The one thing we noticed, and Steve said the same thing, too, it's like every station comes in out there. It's like you have stuff you don't get at home, and just I couldn't even believe it. It just every station comes in. No, what I did is I was streaming on Sirius XM, the Dodger station channel. So I was listening to it in my Bluetooth headset. So that's I restrained myself at least to that point. Let's go with Stephen as a comment, and thank you, Ron, and as always, and glad we could. Get you on the net out there too. That was fun. Go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, sorry for that, Bob. I was having radio issues. I guess it sounded like you commented on me again before you took off. I was going to say a fox box, that makes sense. If you saw a bear on that island or whatever, that'd probably be a pretty trippy event. The one bear on the whole island. I was also going to see if Ron would stick around after. I had a few questions I wanted to pick his brain on about RV life. KO6 KHK. Thanks for running the net, Bob, and thanks for taking the comment.
Oh no, thank you for reiterating that you heard me come back to you. I just said, do you have anything else after whatever I said? I'll have to go back and listen to it tomorrow. Oh, speaking of which,
the Papa System has a great outdoor net archive that can be found on the Papa System website by accessing the homepage and drop down to the YouTube tab. With over 100 episodes that you can listen to anytime. They're also available wherever you normally get your podcast. These are a non-for-profit podcast for the pure love and joy of the great outdoors and amateur radio.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's a shameless plug, even though there's no monetary value going on there. It's just for you guys. It's for the Papa System, and if I get trouble falling asleep one night, I just put one of my nets on, and it works really well. At least I fall asleep nicely. Okay, I am going to go ahead and close it since we're gone a little bit over. It's not too bad, and that way maybe Stephen and Ron can get together too. I do appreciate everyone coming in tonight and spending some time with us. Definitely it was a fun trip. We'll do it again, I'm sure, and I think, like I said, 16 years. I started going out there. It was a day trip, not an overnight, but a day trip in 2010. So it's been 16 years, but we did take 1 year off for COVID. And so I just pretend that didn't happen. So I just go for the 16 years. I want to thank Cecil and the whole Papa System for allowing us to have these nets each and every night of the week. There's a net every night of the week. And of course, you don't even have to be a member. You can come on in and enjoy yourself on the net until you decide what you want to do. Thank all the technical teams, of course, out there, and all the net controllers and everyone and all of our sponsors that do sponsor the Papa System. We are 501(c), and we do have a lot of great vendors and sponsors out there that create some great prizes for our raffles and things. Okay, 7-3, have a great week. We started here every Sunday night, and that way Monday doesn't feel so bad. And have some fun out there in the great outdoors.